In the woodland short introductory film, I talked a little bit about indicator plants. And actually where I'm standing now, I'm in amongst a whole load of bracken. And you might remember that I talk in the woodland one about bracken branches, ferns come up from the ground. Quite a good generalisation to help you remember. But in amongst me here is a lot of bluebell. And bluebell is another one of the important plants of our ancient natural woodlands. This is really quite an open area, and one of the things that particularly lately people have been talking more and more about is the importance of scrubland, because when animals were more dominant within our systems, and our, if you like, natural systems were more dominant, then we would have had a lot of these kind of more open woodland areas as well. The animals would have been grazing, moving through them, opening up patches, moving on to the next, maybe where a tree falls down or whatever. So these areas are quite important, or are very important, and they would have been part of the natural system. So it's not that the whole of Britain was covered by one huge forest. Now, up in these areas, the reason these become so important is that they're great for butterflies and some of the insects, because you're sheltered by the trees, but you've got this vegetation understory. Bracken's quite an interesting one, because it's in itself, it's a bit like a scrub. It creates an overstory after most of the plants are flowered, so it comes up later in the year. So this is obviously all dead bracken. Underneath me is a whole load of new fresh bluebells and other plants coming through, a lot of honeysuckle. Quite a lot of them are woodland plants in this particular area, in this lowland setting. On a mountainside it would be maybe slightly different. So sorry, just behind me, hearing the birds calling, and again they're using the scrub as well. That was the other one I wanted to talk about, because the scrubby areas can be really important for bird nesting, for bird feeding. They're a woodland edge. A lot of edges are where many species tend to congregate, because you get the species of both habitats, and scrub is a fantastic one for that diversity. You can see along the woodland edge here, there's a bit of this open habitat, scrubbiness from the bracken, lots of bluebell underneath, and then along the edge of the coniferous trees, you've got larch conifers there, and along the edge, a lot of elder, important for its berries, flowers, good food plant, and fairly common in these kind of scrubby woodland edge areas. And I was talking earlier as well in the woodland talk about the open rides, and this is obviously broader than a normal ride, but you can see all these different types of habitat running up into the wood. And there's a nice example actually just over here of hawthorn as well, another one of the classic scrubby species in British woodlands. A lot of the trees are just starting to come out into bud. Great. Spring is well and truly starting.